Hi, my name is Mark McGee, and I want to continue our special series on basic self-defense. You may remember that in September of 2020, we began a series and started it on the subject of awareness, being aware. And the reason I start there is because I often say that self-defense is a 90-10 proposition, 90% awareness and 10% technique. If you go to a martial arts class, you'll see a lot of technique being taught, and that's important. We're going to talk a little bit about technique in this video, but 90% of your being safe, your child, your teenager, your family and friends being safe is awareness. And so I invite you to go back to those videos and our articles. You can find them on gracemartialarts.com. Today, I want to take a look at self-defense advice for children and teens. This comes from a question from a parent back in May of 2018. The question was, what advice do you have for children and young teens about self-defense in public or in dark parking lots? And my answer was self-defense for a child begins by understanding the reason for it, self-defense. And that's because it's as basic as good and evil. Some people have good intentions toward children. Some have bad or evil intentions. So because of that, we teach children and teenagers and men and women how to defend themselves. Here are some basics that we teach in Grace Martial Arts. We've already talked about some of them. First of all, be aware. Be aware. Be careful. Stay alert. Keep your eyes out for potential problems. Stay focused on what you're doing and what people near you are doing. Keep a wide view instead of a narrow view of where you are and who is around you. Talking, texting on a cell phone is a narrow focus. That's an example. That can keep children and teens from sensing an approaching attacker. Don't be alone in public places if possible. Buddy up with one or more friends whenever possible. Have a plan in case a stranger approaches you or your group of friends. Know where to run if approached. Have an exit strategy. Be extra careful at night. It's harder to see how to escape at night. Stay away from public places at night, if possible. Or buddy up with one or two or more friends in public places at night. So I want to share with you some basics here, some 4 things that we do in Grace Martial Arts that might be helpful for your children. If children and young teens stay aware, they will usually stay out of trouble. But even with the best preparation and awareness, people with bad intentions can approach children and teens and attempt to do bad things to them. That's why when you go to a martial arts class, you see them learning how to block, how to escape, how to kick, how to punch, how to throw, and so forth. So the first thing that we do is we teach awareness. We teach them how to be aware. Second, we teach preparation, preparing, learning how to respond to a potential attack. Third, teaching evasion. That's escaping and running away. And then fourth, we teach invasion only when it's necessary. We call that stun and run. So basically we tell children, be aware. If you see danger coming, run from it. If you can't run from it, if you're captured or if you're cornered, escape and run. If you can't escape and run, then stun and run. And if you can't stun and run, that's the only time to fight and run. That's the only time. We don't teach fighting. We teach defending. A couple of months after we did that special article responding to the parents' question, we did another article called Self-Defense for Children and Teens. And I want to go through that with you because you may find it helpful. You can also find it on gracemartialarts.com. The date is July 7th of 2018. Now, you may wonder, what does this picture have to do with children defending themselves? You see a little girl playing soccer, a boy playing basketball, another boy and girl doing volleyball. You see a child with a baseball bat. You see another boy pitching, another little boy playing tennis, a little girl playing golf. Well, the reason that we mention that and that we use that as examples is because most children who come into a martial arts class have never studied martial arts before. And the whole idea of stunning somebody is foreign to them. They understand running away. We teach them how to escape, but the idea of stunning and running is foreign. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll say, all right, how many of you play soccer? How many of you play basketball? How many of you do volleyball? How many of you played softball or baseball and so forth? And usually most children and teenagers have played some kind of a sport. So what I do is I show them that with soccer, you learn how to use your feet. You learn how to kick things. With basketball, you learn how to push things at a basket. Well, in self-defense, you might use that pushing mechanism at someone. Volleyball, you learn how to hit things, how to spike things, how to pass. With baseball, softball, you learn how to swing something. With pitching, with throwing in a baseball or softball, you learn how to throw. With a tennis racket, you learn how to swing your arms in a tennis racket. With a golf club, you learn how to do that same kind of a swinging motion. So sometimes we'll use these basic sports as an example to children of, you already know how to do that, and you're probably pretty good at it. So I want to show you how some things in martial arts correspond to things you already know in other kinds of sports. So let's begin with the idea of running. One of the best skills to possess, in addition to awareness and focus, is running. And you see some boys running down a trail. So we teach children how to run, and we teach them not to run in a straight line, but to zigzag. If an adult or older teenager is running after a child trying to grab them, generally the adult is running in a linear fashion, straight forward, and is reaching within his shoulder width. If the child is zigzagging, it's harder for the adult to grab them. The adult has to keep trying to change their pattern, and the child is always a little bit ahead of them because of how they zigzag. And so we teach them how to do zigzag running and how to run toward a place of protection. That could be a home of a friend, could be their home, could be a store, could be a lot. They might see somebody who they know to be an authority figure, firefighter, police officer, and they run to them. So we teach zigzag running. After we teach them how to run and how to escape and run, if that doesn't work, then we want to make sure they understand how to stun and run. So learning how to strike and kick for self-defense, as I mentioned earlier, is not as difficult as it may seem. So here you see a young girl who's about to kick a soccer. We have in martial arts what we call almost like soccer kicks, with the bottom of our foot where we aim toward the shin or the knee. And you can use a soccer kick to be able to stun someone to the point where you can get away. So here's a girl who is doing a volleyball. Same idea, hitting something. She is hitting. If she used you see how she's beginning to serve. If she used that, and if she hit the same way at someone's face, she would very possibly break someone's nose. It's a very, very powerful strike. Even if she didn't break the nose usually would begin to swell up. It would bleed, be difficult to breathe, and her perpetrator would probably stop chasing her, stop grabbing her, and she would be able to get away with something that simple. Here's a little boy running with a football. Well, when children learn how to play football, they learn zigzag running. Sometimes if they're down the field and they're all alone, they're running in a straight line. But if they're trying to get through a group of people, they see them coming and they get out of the way. So that's an idea of zigzag running. We talked earlier about basketball, about different way of shooting, whether it's two-hand or one hand set shot or chest pass. There are many, many different ways that you pass or throw a basketball that can be used to hit somebody, whether you hit them in the chest or the stomach or in the face, and it's enough to stun the person to be able to run away from them. Here's a teenage girl who is throwing a softball. That's that same idea. You know how to throw a softball or a baseball, you know how to swing a bat. Those can all be used to stop an attacker while you escape. Now, I added the cheerleading in here because I have a good friend who has helped us with clinics, self-defense clinics, and she was a cheerleader. And one day I was showing how to escape from a choke, and she said, I've seen that movement before, and she did a cheer, and it was the exact same movement. So I learned from her that any kind of a physical movement, even something as simple as a cheer, can be like a block or like a strike. So I began to share in self-defense clinics that you can even use things that you've learned in something like cheerleading. And of course, that led to our just mentioning to folks that we do clinics for schools and churches. So that's real basic, but I just wanted you to see that there is a way to teach children and teenagers self-defense. It begins with awareness. We teach them how to run, how to escape and run, how to stun and run. And in most cases, that will work very well. Now, if you have any questions that we can answer for you, please email them to us. We'll be glad to answer your questions. Love to help you and your family any way we can. We invite you to go back to gracemartialarts.com, gracemartialarts.com, and you can find scores and scores of articles. We have ebooks. You'll see the articles here, Christian self-defense. We have Bible study ebooks. We have free Christian martial arts ebooks, all kinds of things that you can go through. And these will, I think, probably help you a lot. And then we also have videos on our YouTube channel. So we invite you to go to gracemartialarts.com, and we hope that this series is helpful to you. We pray for your safety and for God's richest blessings in your life and the life of your family.